explore the wisdom of the revered Narada Bhakti Sutras, a cornerstone of Hindu devotion, with His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda. Experience 45 enlightening lessons on the essence of Bhakti Yoga. Discover the path to pure love for God and transcend the material world. Embrace the teachings that have guided devotees for centuries. Attain spiritual perfection through devotion. Prepare to understand the depths of divine love. Find your path to spiritual enlightenment. Trust in the sutras. Follow these instructions. Be blessed with devotion. And now, His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, bestower of immortality. Narada Bhakti Sutras, presently in the Sutra number 45. In the previous Sutra, this was explained how there is a gradation of movement towards downfall. Just to give you a reiteration, it occurs also in the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa Sangasteshu Pajayate. You go on thinking of any object. Whenever we speak of object, you must realize anything that you think of is object. Think of father, mother, son, child, wife, whomsoever. Or just think of mangoes. Or think of past, what was, history, geography. Think of future. All is object. Subject is you. Anything that comes within the range of your mind is object. With this broad understanding. But focusing your mind on very practical details, you start thinking of an object. And you go on repeating it in your mind. Someone tells you if you have a special woolen cloth, it will be wonderful for you. And it shows how mind looks. I'm giving a very ordinary illustration. First day you looked at it, ignored it. Second day you came in the party and you see the person is displaying it. Now you look into your computer, made a research about blankets. Started thinking of the cold that is to come. And now Sangha has been born. Now it develops the idea, no longer are you considering whether you should have it or shouldn't have it. Now the mind simply says, I must have it. If these ordinary people have it, I am a little superior. Why shouldn't I have it? If you are advanced, so many impressions will come day by day. And your mind also is like a monkey. Everything it sees, it wants it. But you have a wand, a magic wand, a Viveka. So, if the monkey does it and looks at you, you show the wand. Dismiss. No longer thinking of that. If you don't have the wand, the monkey goes on turning to the object again and again and buzzing in your ears, I have to have it. So at vritti level, when thoughts arise, their arising process is through unconscious, subconscious. So when it is only in a sprout form, that can easily dismiss it, nip it in the bud. But if you start pampering it and go on mixing with people who like the same object, who hear the glory of that, and again go to an astrologer, can I have it? What was just a sprout has become very big. What was just a spark becomes a conflagration of fire. What was just a little wave becomes like a big tsunami. And that leads you to various other things. Kamat krodho bijayati, anger develops. When anger and agitation has come in your mind, you lose Vivek Shakti, rational capacity. When there is no rationality within you, you are moving towards downfall. Externally, you may have success after success. But spiritual studies don't relate to external. Externality is just a hollow. So 45th Sutra says, Tarangayita api me sangat samudrayanti. Though like ripples, these thought waves of the mind, by evil association, becomes like an ocean. So avoid evil association. Any association that deprives you of your rationality, doesn't allow you to think clearly, but leads your mind to a biased way of thinking. Association plays a great part, Sangha. And so, turn to good association. Also remember, this cycle, samskaras are in the unconscious, where there are subtle impressions like seeds. That's to understand all that operates through your mind, how to handle your mind. It's not easy because you don't see all of your mind. What you see, what you are in touch with in day-to-day life is a little tip of the mind. Just like a mighty iceberg. And you look only at the tip. And that in itself says, oh, such a big thing. No, that's not such a big thing. It's a bigger thing is there behind it. So samskaras are there in your unconscious. How many? That you can't count. For many lives, you see. They're innumerable, limitless. But in this life, all those samskaras are not operative. Only a group of samskaras, they are called sanchita karma, which has turned into prarabdha karma. I will not go into those details. A group of karma from accumulated storehouse. That's what is sustaining your present embodiment. From those samskaras, some of those seeds come up as if they sprout. They are called vasanas. External associations, they play a great part. If you have, suppose you see someone practicing japa, doing mantras, turning to the Gita, immediately your mind turns to old association, what you used to do and used to enjoy. So say, then that particular thought wave comes into your conscious mind. And you can develop it because it's a good process. But in the same way, negative things also. You turn to a person and you see him, the person is turning to smoke or turning to drinks or turning to anything of that nature. And say, this person is so bright and many people like this person, and why shouldn't I have also one or two? And it's the modern time. We are not in the times of old times when things were so restricted. Now we are free. We are moving progressive. If at all it harms, we'll take an antidote. I'm just elaborating. So associations play a great part. That one has to keep in view, and associations that you can avoid, you avoid. But if you can't avoid, then you have to develop internal strength. Put on armor. That's the way soldiers went into the war in old times, even in present times. And that armor means early in the morning, do a lot of prayer, japa, read the scriptures. So your mind has become soaked in spiritual feeling. If that has developed within you, you have a great armor. The negative things will come to you like flies, and you shake them up and move on. So the sequence is, from samskaras there arise vasanas. Vasanas are sprouted seeds. They are not so much in deep unconscious, they are coming closer to your conscious mind, what ordinarily known as subconscious. And then they come into your conscious mind. First they arise in the form of little thoughts, little ripples. But if your mind has a different environment, it doesn't have Viveka Shakti, it has no control, no willpower, then that vritti turns into desire. At desire level, you are dependent. The object that you desire is your master. And each time you turn to that object, you are reminded of it. That master is there. Your happiness is not in your hands, in the hands of the object that you desire. But then what you realize, to your great amazement, many others also like it, like the same object. So there is a competition. It's possible you may attain the object, or it's possible obstacles can come in the way. Someone gets the object. Some interruptions come. Mind develops hatred towards anything that interrupts your movement towards object. That's called dvesha, that's called anger in a special sense. When you fulfill the desire, that again doesn't leave your mind in a state of placidity. It has created agitation in your mind. Because firstly, you had the attitude of being a slave. You never deserved it. Secondly, suddenly the object has been gained. So you can't accept the object as a normal achievement. You are overjoyed. That's why during joyous condition, people need to have support of others. Immediately you ask many people, come together, we are having a wonderful party. Good thing has happened. The tendency that since good things have happened, let me go to Satsanga and learn about the transience. So that's agitation called krodha. Then comes kuraha, bhavati, sammoha. Reasoning becomes very dull. Your mind has lots of illusions. That destroys your sattvic memory that holds positive experiences you had in this life and from past lives. And from a very advanced point of view, the real awakening of memory means a revelation that I am one with God. That memory is completely veiled. That's the process of downfall. So again, the cycle is samskaras, seeds, vasanas, sprouts, vrittis, thought waves, desire. Unchecked desire becomes craving. Craving leads to actions, positive or negative. These create experiences of pleasure and pain. Experiences create impressions in the unconscious, samskaras. Cycle goes on. In the next sutra, kastarati kastarati mayam yah sangans tyajati yo mahanubhavam sevate nirmamo bhavati. Who crosses the ocean of Maya? Who crosses over the ocean of Maya? Double emphasis is given. Kastarati. Who crosses? Narada was not satisfied. Put it again. Kastarati. Who crosses? He had trouble with Maya for a long time. And gives the remedy. Yah sangans tyajati. He who abandons attachments to the world of illusion, attachments to objects that are rajasic and tamasic. Yo mahanubhavam sevate. And how can you abandon objects that are rajasic, tamasic, that keep your mind distracted? Objects that fill in your mind mala and vikshepa. Tamasic objects create in your mind mala. Mala means anger, hate, greed, powerful emotions. And vikshepa means mind is, even though mind seems to be quiet, but thoughts are running in all directions. You are not settled. If you start thinking of anything, it just goes into a wide range. And only after half an hour realize that you have been just doing nothing. Mahanubhavam sevate. Therefore, those who serve Mahatmas, great souls, implying who render services under the guidance of a spiritual association, leading a disciplined life under the guidance of Guru or a spiritual preceptor, or anyone who is more advanced in a spiritual way, and thereby who becomes free of the sense of mindness. Nirmamo bhavati. Ordinarily, when the term nirmama is used, people become upset. To the masses, it has become like kind of a negative term. Originated as a very positive quality. Nirmam is the quality of a sannyasi, one who has turned his mind to God. Nothing belongs to me. Most people, talking of nirmam, they show a sense, a kind of crudeness in their feeling. Rocky heart, rock-like heart. And that's not real implication of the term nirmam. Nothing belongs to me. That shouldn't give you a sense of being hard-hearted. Remember, sage Valmiki emerges from samadhi. Nothing belonged. But even a little pain experienced by a bird softened his heart. A mighty cascade of compassion emerged from his heart. And that became the Ramayana. Inspired him to write profound work, glorifying God as Rama. Implication is that good feelings become more magnified in a sage. But those who are not in a high level, good feelings arise, but good feelings become polluted or mixed up with ego, selfishness. Fish enters into it, spoils its beauty. Without going to further details, these certain terms, which general masses do not understand so easily, and they are to be understood by you if you are moving towards God realization. Nirmoha. You should not have delusion, deluded love. At the general level, no one likes to be called nirmohi or nirmoha. Now it is considered a word of appreciation. What a wonderful moha. But you must realize you are not, Bhakti Sutras don't teach you to be just a general person from the world. Nirmoha. Nirmama. Nothing is mine. Niralamba. No support. Whenever there is trouble, people look for support. You must realize the real support is God. What will you do? Will push the supports that come to you away in order to be supported by God? Not so. You recognize God's support is coming through all these supports. So mind should not become so attached to external supports. Realize your link is with God. And if He goes on giving you support, He will give you support even in the most desolate place, from nowhere. And if you karmically you are don't deserve it, He will take them all away with a moment. So all supports come from God. Recognition of that is niralamba. You are no longer dependent on the world. Nirguna. You are no longer dependent upon the modes of nature. That's a whole profound study. Whole evolution depends upon your understanding of how the gunas operate. 3 gunas are operating day by day. Tamas. These gunas have positive and negative implications. When tamas is in a healthy range, then what it does, it makes you relax very fast. When you go to sleep, you go into deep sleep. But if tamas is unhealthy type, it makes you hold in your mind negative experiences. Whole day you may have had wonderful experiences. But what sticks to your mind is a pickle. And some people begin to enjoy it. They'll say, what a marvelous pickle. I'm detailing upon. The implication is negative thoughts enter your mind and you hold it on. People hold on to a grudge for a long time. Sometimes they hold on from one generation to another. That's called tamas. How to convert tamas into rajas. Tamas is leading your mind into down, inertia. Rajas awaken it. Don't fall into inactivity of a tamasic nature. But then rajas has to be sublimated. Think of a lamp, old style lamp. There are three aspects of it. There is oil, then oil moving through the wick, there is a flame. Oil is tamas. So don't look down upon it. Without that oil, there will be nothing there. When oil is moving through the wick, there is a constant flow. That's a rajas. So when you move towards disciplining yourself, first stage, you become aware of the negative weaknesses that you have. Many negative things that are drowned in your mind, they are awakened. So the tamas is becoming channelized into rajas. But then rajas becomes transformed into sattva. That oil emerges like a flame. And that's the story of everyone's evolution. That's the story of the civilization and progress of all humanity. Sometimes a whole country or from a whole state falls under more tamas. In tamasic state, they become little gentle and more complacent. And when you begin to hear agitations and aspirations, and it gives a mixed feeling if what's happening. Are these people going downward? But sometimes that's the mark of progress. Mind was completely in a state of inertia. Now people start thinking of how they can progress. Think of it in the modern world, where poor countries were completely suppressed. But when suddenly their economy improved, their mind started thinking how to go to America, how to go there, how to have cell phones, how to chit-chat in an international way, and you find their mind is not quiet at all. It's a better state, but it has to be under great care, because the next step is channelizing it, sublimating the rajas into something profound. It's not easy to handle the world outside, but at least to start within every individual. And ultimately, even sattva is that which renders your mind calm, relaxed, pure. And therefore, through that mind, there is a revelation. I am not the body, not the mind, I am Brahman. But once you have that revelation, you are not dependent upon the mind. That's what we mean. You go beyond the gunas. Even sattva guna is no longer dependent upon another. A quotation occurs in the Bhagavad Purana. Yathop Pashrayamanasya Bhagavantam Vibhavasum Shitam Bhayam Tamopyeti Sadhun Sans Sevatas. Just as by taking refuge in fire god, one becomes rid of cold, fear and darkness. In the same way, by coming into saintly association, you come into Satsanga, association with saintly environment. That serves you like a fireplace. The world is described in a figurative way as a chilly place. Think of the deep winter, and dense darkness, and you have find yourself stranded in a forest. And then you see a little light coming from a house. Immediately you look into it and you are invited into it. And there is a fireplace. You come close to it. You have become free of three things. Cold. Firstly, you are chill. Secondly, fear. Every time an owl hooted upon the tree, it sent chill in your heart. And free of darkness. The darkness itself causes lots of troubles. Now, there are subtler implications. What is cold? Sinful karmas. Negative karmas you have done. They are always creating deep within you a sense of fear, a rather sense of chill. Ordinary fear doesn't create that, but something that you don't know, what the karmic repercussions are going to be, that sends out a chill. Whether you know it or not, there is always something deep within every individual. So that cold, the point fear relates to, your soul has gone through many embodiments. And if you don't attain enlightenment, there is coming back into new embodiments. And what those embodiments will be like, what will be the experiences in future. If you don't want to go into too much birth, death, even in this life, what will be your future? And darkness. Darkness relates to ignorance. Sinful karmas, the cycle of birth and death, and ignorance. These three are targeted by Satsanga. Similes coming from a forest in a dark night and entering into a beautiful place with a fireside with someone to chit-chat about God. Yo vivikta sthanam sevate, yo lokabandham unmulayati, nistraigunyo bhavati, yogakshemam tyajati. These are further disciplinary instructions. One who takes recourse to solitary places, vivikta sthanam. Don't live in a crowd. Go into a place very solitary. Now, don't take it literally. The instruction relates to your mind. Learn to evolve a style of life where you can find a space within your mind. Many people live their mind with such a crowd in it, they don't have any free space. To the extent external situation helps you, that's perfectly, you should adopt. But the answer doesn't lie in simply finding a place where nobody is there. Because soon you will fill that place with crowd, all through your mind. Vivikta sthanam, try to think of it, how to create within yourself or find within yourself that state which is not crowded, where mind can relax and move freely. Becomes like a swan, flies. How to develop sattva. Yo lokabandham unmulayati. He who roots out dependence on the world. Saint Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said in a simple way, to learn lessons from the simple art of cooking. When you chop jackfruits, many of you may not know about jackfruits, then when you chop platanos, the glue from it sticks into your fingers. Simple method is oil your fingers. Go and chop. Have wonderful platano fries. The meaning of this is everything you do in this world creates something that sticks. But if you oil your mind with love of God, it's very oily. Once the mind has been oiled with divine love, everything slips away from you. Nothing compares with God. So everything moves away from you. But you handle it. You learn the art of being detached. Live in the world like a lotus. Lotus is there. Living with the pond, with frogs and fishes. Nevertheless, its beauty is far transcends. And it whispers and talks by cell phone to the sun or the moon. So that's called lokabandhan unmulayati. Nistra gunyo bhavati. Goes beyond the three gunas, which I explained. Yoga kshemam tyajati. Mind is constantly pressured by two types of anxiety. Yoga here doesn't refer to the yoga practices. It's a Sanskrit word which means you want to gain. What you don't have, you want to be united with it. Kshema means to protect what you have. It's simple economics. The money you have, you protect it. But just protecting is not enough. How to multiply it? In the scriptures, in a highly allegorical way, mystical way, it is described. Kubera is the god of treasure. Two types of people attend on him, yakshas and rakshasas. Yakshas are those who protect. And rakshasas, they are interested in how to make it multiply, by hook or by crook. Not always by hook or by crook. The original setting is they are wonderful personalities, yakshas and rakshasas. In old times, these words were very auspicious. As time passed, People are interested in money matters. And when they misuse the money and don't allow the money to flourish in a positive way, people look at them as Rakshasas, demons. Yakshas are a little lesser, but they are also in the same group. This I have taken you out of the context, just for giving you variations. But coming back to what Narada says, if you have devotion to God, deep down you must develop that trust and faith that all things that you need you will attain without your being involved in anxiety and torment. It will come to you like fruits come in a tree. A mango fruit is worried. Other mangoes are full of fruits and it doesn't have. And whatever it has is bitter. That worry doesn't make the fruit ripen. The roots of all personalities is God within. How are you relating yourself to your root? If you have developed one-pointed devotion, it's the same thing. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. In the words of Lord Krishna, Ananyashchintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktana yogakshemam vahamyaham. The devotee who is constantly reflecting on me, constantly worshipping me, worshipping me with a sense of union. I and God are one. Ananya. Think of in practical world, when a child turns to the mother for any need, the sentiment is ananya. Child feels absolutely united. That type of feeling has to develop towards God. Then God becomes your mother. He doesn't learn lessons from mothers. He takes care of your yoga and kshema. An interesting story is told. There was a young Brahmin who had studied the scriptures. When he was reading the Gita, in that Gita it says, Bahamyaham, where God says, I take care of that devotee. He thought that's not glorious for God to say that I do that. He has so many servants, so many angels. He can send one of the angels and he'll do that. Help the devotee. So he took a pen and marked it down. Instead of Vahamyaham, he put the Sanskrit word Karomyaham. I made it. I caused it to happen. The story is big, but I was short in it. The idea is, in his home, something special was to be done. Some marriage ceremony was to go on, and there is a need for lots of materials. And he was a poor man. He continued away from home. He continued his meditations, etc. And since he realized it was not within his power to help the matter, he just stayed away. While he was away, a young boy comes with a cartload of things and gives to the wife of this man and says that your husband has sent all this to you. She was very surprised. The husband had nothing few hours back, but now it's all this somehow. But she was more surprised to look at the boy. He had a big mark. Someone had given him a lash on his back, bruised his whole back. Who was the cruel monster who did this to you? She said, forgive me, your husband. The boy went away. The mother, the wife, was so perplexed. She had never seen her husband being so cruel. Could never have believed it. And when the husband comes, he says, all these things are there? Who brought them? She said, didn't you send all this? There was a boy who brought all this. And why did you beat him like in such a terrible way? There was a lash from his whole back. Someone has put a knife that had ink in it and drawn it from in a slant. Then suddenly it clicked his mind. In the Gita, he has, with a pen, negated that particular word. And Krishna wants to show him. And that was enactment. You must realize this is a sentimental story created. So don't expect that you become a devotee. God is coming to you like that, knocking at the door. At the same time, don't consider it impossible, because whoever knocks at the door is God. Om Shanti Shanti.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of spiritual growth. It's an honor to learn from the wisdom of Swami Jyotirmayananda. As we part for now, remember, the quest does not end. Take time to reflect on today's insights and integrate them into your life. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, stay present. The light within you is always shining.